So preparing ourselves for practice today, come to our seated mountain pose towards the front of our chair. Close the eyes, focus on the breath, and observe how the breath is flowing, how the breath is moving today. And just take these initial moments of our time together to prepare yourself for our practice, to prepare yourself for time that's dedicated just to you, time that's dedicated to movement, to focus, to understanding what's going on with your body this morning. Now, finding that focus, that concentration, begin to deepen your breath. Taking the breath into the lower ribs, into the belly. Noticing the movement of the belly and the lower ribs. And finding that contraction of the ribs, the contraction of the belly, and focusing on the end of the exhale to completely empty the lower lungs, to provide lots of room for the next inhale breath. Draw the shoulder blades back together, slightly move them slightly in towards the spine, and then slide the shoulder blades down the back towards the waist. Align the head with the spine. And continue to deepen the breath, allowing the deepening of the breath to enhance the focus that you're bringing into our practice today. Bring that focus that you've now established to the sit bones and even out the weight on the sit bones front to back, side to side. It may help you to raise awareness in this area, to rock left to right, lifting one sit bone away from the chair, and come back to center, and then glide the pelvis, tilting the pelvis forward by tugging the sit bones back with the edge of the chair, and then rolling over the sit bones to tilt the pelvis back. So just rolling forward and back and forward and back, coming to center, centering the weight, evening out the weight left and right and front to back. So bringing the pelvis close to a level position, and then think of each of the vertebrae individually, stacking one on top of the next, starting with the first lumbar vertebrae, moving up through each of the lumbar vertebrae, then coming to the thoracic vertebrae, and again, seeing them stack one on the next. Coming up to the cervical vertebrae, and again, visualizing those vertebrae stacking one on the next. Then visualize the muscles of the spine, the muscles of the core, supporting the spine, bringing the spine into alignment. And allowing the spine to effortlessly carry the weight of the upper body into the sit bones and into the seat of the chair. Try to observe those areas where it may be taking extra effort to hold the body in position and see if you can make any slight adjustment to reduce the effort that you're requiring to hold the spine in alignment. Let's move from the hips along the thigh bones to the knees and down to the feet. And although the feet are not carrying the primary role of supporting the body now, engage the feet. Lift all 10 toes away from the floor. Try and spread the toes out. And breathe here. Balancing the ease and effort of holding the posture, but also finding ease as we come into our seated mountain pose. Let's find our blocks now and our strap. Coming into our seated mountain pose, let's bring one block in between the thighs, one block in between the calves, and squeeze everything into center. Opposite, bring your hands to the outside of the thighs, directly opposite the block, and squeeze in towards center. And then let the hands release and feel the adductor muscles, all those muscles that move the body towards the center line of the body. Let's similarly move down onto the calves, press the calves in, release the hands, and come away. Holding into center, strengthening the adductor muscles, muscles that move the legs in towards the center line of the body. Let's release the blocks. Let's place one block on the floor and bring the big toes against the edges of the block. Squeeze. Use the leg muscles, the muscles that move the feet, to press the mound of the big toe into the blocks. And let's similarly work with the hands, extend the block out in front of us, and squeeze everything in towards center. Make sure to draw the shoulder blades back. Shoulder blades come in towards the spine, draw this back, shoulder blades down the back, and squeeze in. Let's release the blocks. Find your strap. Let's put a loop in the strap. So making our circle with the strap, or if you're using a flexi band, same thing. Let's begin. We'll begin by finding that strap, setting the strap to about shoulder width. Taking the strap around the wrists. So make sure the wrists aren't on the buckle. And if you're using a flexi band, it's just, the action is going to be slightly different. If you're using a flexi band, you're going to be working into the movement. If you're using a strap, a solid strap, you're going to press the wrists out into the resistance of the strap. So now we're working the abductor muscles, the muscles that move the arms away from the center line of the body. Maybe turn and face the palms to the ceiling, getting a slightly different action here. And let's release the hands. Let's move the belt up above the elbows. And now, rather than pressing the lower arm out, we're pressing the upper arm out into the resistance of the strap. Again, strengthening the abductor muscles, the muscles that move the arms away from the central line of the body. Let's release our strap now and wrap that loop around the feet. You might want to tighten that, make the loop a bit smaller. And let's stretch that the legs out, come around the toe bases. And stretch and press the toes into, we're rotating the feet out like that. So pressing in. And now let's take that loop up around the mid to about mid calf. Adjust the belt slightly. And now let's press. Press the belt out into the calf. So again, strengthening the muscles that move the legs out, the abductor. And finally, we're going to come up onto the thighs. Again, adjust the belt appropriately. About mid-thigh. And press out. Strengthen these abductor muscles. And let's release and set our strap aside for the moment. So what we've been working on here are we started with the muscles that draw body parts in towards center. And then B, we started to work on those muscles that just take the body out away from center. Let's go back to our seated mountain pose now. Just take a couple of breaths here. Let's find our weights now. Bring the weights down beside the body. Stack the spine. We'll begin with some hammer curls. So now we're going to go from moving the body, working in and out, to moving up, up and down. So inhale, lift towards the shoulders, exhale, or inhale on the down, exhale on the up. 2, and drag those weights down. Take as much time as you can to drag them down. 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. Let's lean slightly forward. Take the weights sort of out to this position. We're going to do some rows, some upright rows. So lift for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Let's come back up. Do some side lifts now. So seated, make sure here that we have the spine well stacked, one vertebrae on the next. Lift to 45, lift to 90, 45, and 0. 2, 2, 2, and 2. 3, 3, 3, and 3. 4, 4, 4, and 4. 5, 5, 5, and 5. 6, 6, 6, and 6. 7, 7, 7, and 7. 8, 8, 8, and 8. 9, 9, 9, and 9. 10, 10, 10, and 10. 11, 11, 11, and 11. 12, 12, 12, and 12. We haven't done any lateral movement yet of the spine, so we'll just do a set of lateral movement of the spine. So inhale, exhale one weight, the right weight to the floor for 1. Come through center, left to the floor for 1. Right for 2. Left for 2. Right for 3. Left for 3. Right for 4. Left for 4. 5. 5. 6. 6. 7. 7. 8. 8. 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. Come back to center. Let's just take one weight now. Take the weight in both hands, almost like you're holding a sword. Not that it's something many of us have had much of experience with. And let's lift that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Let's switch to the other side now. So reaching that weight down towards the left side. And again, try not to use momentum as we move through the arc of the weight. Try and control the weight very much all the way through with an even muscular effort. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Let's go back to 2 weights now, and we'll do some core work. I didn't really start out today thinking about a strength practice, but it sort of turned into that. So let's cross with our weights over the chest. Remember, we're keeping that spine nice and long. We're not rolling back towards the back of the chair. We're angling the body back. Inhale here and exhale. Let's lean back and inhale or exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Make sure we're using the muscles of the core to lift us back up. For 3, 4. And to control our descent towards the back of the chair. 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and on 12, we're going to hold on back. So 12, and then hold on 12 for 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And come back to that neutral spine. Take a nice deep breath, really fill the lungs, and then exhale with a sigh through the mouth. Reverse the cross of the arms, and we'll repeat that set with the opposite cross of the arms. For 1, back, 1. Inhale back. Exhale forward for 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. When you're at that maximum angle, really feel the core muscles of the front body supporting you. 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. Let's hold that angle just hovering above the back of the chair for 12, 11, breathe, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And come back to center. Set your weights aside. And come back to our seated mountain pose for a moment. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale through the mouth with a nice sigh. Coming back to from our seated mountain pose, move the legs into a slight V. Let's come up to a cactus arms. Draw the shoulder blades together on the back. Try and draw once the shoulders together and down. Inhale here. And exhale, bend the right elbow. Take the right elbow to the right knee. Stack the shoulders over the right arm and stretch the left arm across, reaching the fingertips out, pressing the left sit bone into the mat and feeling a really nice extension all the way along the left side of the body. Inhale, come back up to cactus. Twist the body towards the right side. Take the left elbow to the left knee and stretch that right arm across. Inhale, come back up to cactus. Stretch the right leg out towards the right side, slightly angled away from the center line. Twist in and bring the right hand inside the right leg. Slide it down and reach across. Breathe here. Inhale, come up, draw the right leg in, stretch the left leg out, take the left hand inside, reach across, and stretch the right fingertips out. Keep the breath moving here. Inhale, let's come up, draw both legs in, raise the arms overhead, and exhale, fold into the center of that V the legs are forming. Folding in. Inhale, press up. Walk the feet back to center. Let's inhale the arms overhead. Exhaling, draw the hands back to heart center. Let's do some standing work now. So today I'm going to ask you to come to standing facing the seat of your chair. So come to standing facing the seat of your chair. Let's begin our standing work. Take the seat of the chair. The hands can be flat on the seat of the chair or wrapped around the chair. It's just going to depend on the chair you're using. Make sure that whatever chair you're using is stable. It's not going to slide away from you. So we're coming standing version now of table pose. So instead of being on our knees, we're going to have where the legs are long. And now just let the shoulder blades glide in towards center on the back. And let the whole sternum descend as one unit towards the chair. Press the hands into the chair and let the shoulder blades slide off the back. So they're pulling away now. Let them come back in towards the spine and out and in and out. And now let's try to find a position that's sort of in the center of that range of motion of the shoulder blades. So basically the shoulder blades are pretty much flat on the back. Bring your attention to the feet, establish contact between the feet and the floor. Bend the knees. Those core muscles that we used when we did our crunches, our chair crunches. And let's step the left foot slightly forward, the right foot back a little bit. And what we're going to do here now, and just play around with the positioning of the left and right leg, we're going to just bend both knees and take particularly that bent right knee any amount towards the floor and press up. Let's bend both legs and see if you can increase the range of motion a little bit with each bend for 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. Step both feet back to meet and come back to our table position. Breathe, let's take 2 full breaths here. Exhale for 1. Inhale for 2. Exhale for 2. And now step the right foot in towards the chair. Take the left foot back and play around with that distance. It may be a little different on this side just because the muscles are a bit different here. Inhale here and bend both knees. Take that left knee down towards the floor and straight. For 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. Step both feet back to meet and come to our table, chair supported table. Breathe here. Let's take 2 more breaths. Once again, let's step that left leg right in now so the shin contacts the edge of the chair. Now step the right leg back fully. The left leg is just contacting the edge of the chair. Step the left leg back. Straighten out that, step the right leg back. Straighten the right leg out, curl the toes under, and gently sort of let that heel move back, stretching out the calf, the Achilles tendon. Come up onto the opposite thigh. Maybe we can lift one or both arms away. Release the hands onto the chair. And step both feet back to meet. And come to a plank pose, supported by the chair. And from our plank, let's step the opposite knee in to meet the edge of the chair. And now stretch out the opposite leg by curling the toes under, bringing the heel as close as possible to above the toes. And stretch that leg out. Maybe come onto the opposite thigh. Maybe lift the arms. It might. And let's step back to plank. Press back to a down dog on the chair. Right. And down, chair supported down dog. Let's walk the feet in towards the chair. Once more, come back to our table. Now let's step that left knee in towards the chair. Take the right foot back. Come up for a warrior two pose. So now, rather than the pelvis facing the chair, the pelvis is open towards the side of the mat. Stretch the arms out. Bend that left knee in towards the chair and come into warrior two pose. Drop the right or left elbow to the left knee. Either the hand rest at the side or stretch it forward for extended side angle. You can also support yourself on the chair here. Inhale, come back up to warrior two. Turn both feet parallel. Inhale, exhale. Either bring the hands to the blocks or the floor. Coming into a forward fold, but keeping the back long. Protecting the spine by keeping the back long. Keeping the head in line with the spine. Let's come back up. And now turn. I'm not going to move my chair today, but I'll give you a moment to move your chair to the other side. So now our right knee is going towards the chair. We're lifting our arms for warrior two. Bending the right elbow, bringing it onto the right knee. Coming to extended side angle. And stretching things out. Inhale, come back up to warrior two. Feet come back to center. Fold towards the floor. Breathe here. Inhale, come all the way up. Let's heel the toe of the feet back to the center. And let's come back down onto our chair and I promised you some work with the therapy balls today, so we'll find our therapy balls. Oh. Or tennis balls, whatever you're using. Let's begin by placing one of the therapy balls underneath our right foot. So begin with the therapy ball underneath the right foot and just underneath the mound of the big toe. So just move that foot. Keep the heel pressed into the floor while we move along the bases, the toe bases of the right foot. Now bring the ball to the center of the toe bases and let the foot wrap around the toes. Or I'm sorry, let the foot wrap around the ball. Let's begin to move along the structure of the foot by starting underneath the base of the big toe, moving to the heel, back to the big toe, first little toe, back to the first little toe, middle toe, next, and then coming to the pinky toe, out and back, and then just generally roll around the base of the foot, exploring the whole base. And then stop. Maybe you've noticed some spots that need a little extra attention here. Stop, press into the foot. Let's pick the ball up. Let's just work a little bit now on the calves. Again, let's begin by working in the direction of the muscle fibers of the calf. So just and then let's work across the calf muscle. I'm going to ask you to try what we call the pin and twist technique. So find a spot on the calf muscle where the muscle's particularly thick and press the ball as firmly as you can into the muscle, and then see if you can twist it any amount. Probably not going to be too comfortable if you're really putting some pressure on and twisting here. And let's just release that muscle. Just do a little bit more gentle work. And then just sort of brush out that muscle. Today, since we don't have all that much time, let's go to the outside part of the calf. Let's go to this section right in here. And again, we'll begin by working along the length of the muscle in the same direction as the muscle fibers. Using quite firm pressure. And then let's work across the calf muscle. And as you're doing this, try to identify some spots that need a little extra attention. For me, it's right about here. So I'm going to press the ball into that spot using a pretty firm pressure and then twist. And then maybe again. And then let's finish up, just go back to that working in the direction of the muscle fibers. And then just brush that away. Come back to our seated mountain pose for a moment. I notice the difference, if any, there may not be any, between the leg that's you've worked on and the leg that's still hasn't had any attention. Let's bring the ball back underneath the toe mounds and work with the heel pressing into the floor, working back and forth. Tracing that line from the toe base to the heel, working one toe at a time across the foot. Middle toe. Next, little toe. And finally, the baby toe. Bring the ball now to the center of the toe mounds and let the front of the foot, let it wrap around. Let it wrap right around the ball, working on that arch that goes across this part of the foot. Then just gently move around the whole foot, explore, find those areas of where there's a bit of holding, there's a bit of a knot. Work into those areas. Maybe if there's an area that needs particular attention, let the foot wrap right around that spot. And now on the left leg, let's come to the inner thigh. Let's begin by working in the direction of the muscle fibers on the inner thigh. And if you're doing this work on the floor, you can bring the ball behind the calf. Let the calf rest on the ball on the floor and then use the weight of the leg to press the ball into the calf muscle. And now let's work across the calf. And then find 1 or 2 points that need a little extra tension. Press the ball as deeply as you can into the calf and then twist. Maybe find another point or continue, repeat on the same point. Press in and twist. Let's now come to the outer calf. Work first in the direction of the calf, the muscle fibers of the calf. And again, identify those spots that are going to need a little extra attention later. Let's work across. Then find those points that need some extra tension. Pin the muscle by pressing the ball in and then twist. Maybe find another spot or go back to the same spot. Pin and twist. Let's go back and work in the direction of the muscle fibers. Set your ball aside and then just brush that area you've just worked on. Let's come back to our seated mountain pose now. Stacking the spine, observing the effect of our practice, and beginning to prepare ourselves for final relaxation. So find any of those things that you need to make yourself comfortable during final relaxation. Take a drink if necessary. Breathe here. And let's slide ourselves back in our chair. Just come to the point where the back of the chair is gently supporting the back, but not really carrying the weight. The weight is still mostly carried in the seat and now into the back of the thigh. Stack the spine. Now, let everything relax. Let's begin by relaxing that adductor pressure that we sort of kept constant throughout our practice. So just letting the legs relax, release. Letting the thighs, the calves, the thighs, letting them relax and release. Let all the muscles around the hips soften and release. Perhaps just noticing, instead of the sit bones sort of moving into center, just sort of gently opening up towards the side. Softening the breath. Back relaxing, shoulders relaxing. Arms and hands. The neck, the head, the face. Release control of the breath. And find stillness in the mind. Inhale here, raise the arms overhead, have the hands meet overhead, draw the hands back to heart center. Let's thank ourselves for making time for our practice today. Let's thank each other for sharing our practice. And thank you so much for the honor of being able to guide you through your practice this morning. Namaste.